Hey everyone, Offtrackduo here, and today I'm going to be talking about a new game called Dungeon Fighters Duel. If you don't already know what this game is, it's a new game developed by Arc System Works, being made by the Guilty Gear guys, the BlazBlue guys, Under Night In-Birth, and the Persona Arena games. They also did Cross Stack Battle, which was the crossover, which had Ruby and stuff, so they've done a lot of fighting games. Some I have played, some I haven't, but I'm definitely excited for this particular one. And I just wanted to rave about why this game is awesome, and why it's definitely one of my most anticipated games of 2022. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to Elden Ring, but this game is definitely going to hold me down for the latter half of 2022. So this game came onto my radar because of the great job the marketing team has done on YouTube and Twitter, being able to just promote this game, releasing trailers of each character and showing off the coolest and fun parts of them. Like, as soon as I saw Inquistor, I knew I wanted to main her. Like, I want to be able to put my enemies at stake and burn them. She's sick. And being able to see the coolest parts of each characters, all of their sick animations, and varying different play styles made them all look really interesting to use. And while the characters themselves mostly fit archetypes, they're so well defined in terms of the style of the animations, their movements, that they never really feel bland when you're using them, which is just props to both the original game and the team that was able to translate and bring these characters back to life. So it never really feels like you would have to go back to the original game and understand who they are. They just feel recognizable and they play very, very well. In terms of play itself, most of the movements are motion inputs, which for me is just good. So it means that all of the characters essentially move the same. So it's really easy to get into, and being able to do all of the sick moves that you see your characters able to do on the trailer or the characters are able to do in the original game. It's all about being able to use those moves, pull them off in a fun, stylish way. But there's also a bit of a Fritzies game because the movement itself isn't very heavy, so there's a lot of importance about positioning and knowing when to like just dump all of your shit onto your opponent and make them suffer. And I think I like that a lot because I've always had a hard time getting into fighting games because just being able to pull off inputs has been a hard thing to do, or even just trying to learn a combo and there's just a traditional hardcore fighting game. It's just been something that I personally haven't been able to get into, but I always wanted to, and this game was able to, I guess, do that to me, and it makes me want to play a lot of more other fighting games afterwards, because you're watching yourself grow and eventually get better, being able to pull off moves that you didn't think you were able to pull off, punish your opponents, learning from an opponent. It's just a great feeling that I was able to get out of playing this demo. And I at least think that's an important distinction. Like, sure, every fighting game is someone's first, and sure, this might just be coming from a noob's perspective, but being able to just get into just the competitive nature of this did a lot for me as someone who always wanted to get into a fighting game. This is much more fun than it is competitive. Like, it's not the most perfectly balance as far as I could tell in terms of what a fighting game ideally should be, quote unquote, but it does so much to ease you into it, and every character is able to be, I guess, broken in one way or have insane tools that you really want to be able to pull off and do to your opponent, and you might learn what an opponent is going to do and have to deal against them. Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff that the Crusader could do in terms of its buff, in terms of its raw, in terms of its aerial attacks. So being able to even play against it and learning how do I deal with this there's fun in that. Being able to slowly get better with whatever you decide to do, or learn new different characters. Like Ranger is very fun in terms of his guns, in terms of his movement, in terms of the different tools that he has. He also has some of the sickest animations in the game. He could literally do a bullet dance over your opponent's head, which is hilarious. So it might be annoying to deal with his range and with his poke. Being able to play as him and learning how to play as him comes with fun too, and it does come with an exhilarating feeling when you're able to pull off a combo that you see your opponent can do. Like, there's a lot of videos I've seen online since the game came out of the different combos that other people were able to do as Inquistor, who's, like I said, my main. She's sick. I love her burning wheel and I love her spinning wheel. She's great. And I can look at these combos and I think I could do that. Now, I can't say the same for a lot of other fighting games that I guess I don't have experience with, or the barrier entry is much more steep. Like, I don't see myself ever being as good as Daigo Umehara. Not saying that I should or that I can, and that's a huge expectation to put on, I guess, myself. But you could certainly learn from a lot of other players online. There's a lot of mirror matches I had playing as Inquisitors where the opponent was just flat out better, and it was kind of embarrassing, not gonna lie, to lose a mirror match. But I took what they did to me, I did it to someone else, and it felt good. It felt good to learn the things that your opponent does to annoy you, to punish you, to expose you, and pull it off of your opponents as if it didn't happen to you. That's the fun of fighting games. That's the fun that I've had with this fighting game. To talk more about how the game plays, your characters have both a light and a heavy attack, along with a mana pool and specials and motion inputs for each of those mana moves and special moves. So the combinations are just very endless in terms of a lot of the different things you could do, a lot of the different mana moves you could do. And you gain mana as you get beat or as you're beating someone down. So being able to like use those for different combos and mixing them in with specials and along with the different directions of your motion inputs, you have a lot of options for each of the characters in terms of what you can do and how you can move and how you're doing your combos. So really it's about just there's that fun in exploring the different things you could do with your character, which I'm sure comes natural to fighting games, but because things are simple and straightforward with the motion inputs for both mana and specials, it's really easy to get into and figure out, alright, I like this combo, I like using my wheel as Inquistor, what are different ways I can open up with my wheel, I like using my spinning aerial motion input with mana, what are different ways I could get into that for combo. Getting into that groove and into that motion and challenging yourself in routine a new fight to try out something new was one of the things I did to have fun during the demo. Another feature in the gameplay is every character has access to their super, which is kind of an instant kill, or it isn't an instant kill exactly, but it definitely takes a big portion of their opponent's health, and it's sort of a comeback mechanic. And while that does sound like a bit broken and unfair that it's such a powerful move that is such easy access, it's a very projected move. So you would be playing expecting your opponent to use it if you're winning, and being able to like use it at the opportune time is really the way to use it rather than using it as a crutch. Like, there's a lot of cheap ways you could either win or you could try to win, but when you're able to like just be decent enough, like I was able to like block a lot of those because I knew when their opponents would use them, and I'm not too good at fighting games, not yet. So if that is something that seems like a bit unfair or a bit too casual or fun to you, if you're not into being able to have access to such a bad move, it might be a bit of a turn off, but if you're good enough, you'll be able to predict it and play against it. Now, if we're going to talk about how the demo played, there were a bit of connection issues. I had a few times I disconnected. There was one time I disconnected when I was dusting an opponent after losing to them a few times. I was finally about to hand them that sweet defeat until I disconnected, and it really hurt. I don't think that'll be a problem in the official release. There were just some issues with the demo servers, but once gameplay was out there, I never really had issues with lag other than like maybe 1 or 2 times I disconnected, which is hopefully a good sign. I believe there is rollback, so there isn't going to be connection issues persisting, and that's very important. I didn't know how important that was until I had to deal with it. And I just want to say the demo had really, really good music. Like, Arc System Works has amazing music all throughout. Even when I wasn't playing Blaze Blue, I just love that soundtrack. And they really never missed with any of the songs, any of the different background songs, any of the different stage musics. It's really good. Even the menu and the character select screen hits different. I almost didn't want to choose a character at some point while I was in my lobbies while I was getting ready to fight someone because I just wanted to groove out. Speaking of lobbies, there's also a lot of fun of just going into a lobby, challenging the person with the most wins, and beating them. That's such a good feeling, and I'm glad to say I was able to pull it off a few times. It's essentially like going to a business meeting and just putting your dick on the table and disrespecting everyone. All that to say is, DNF Duel is a very, very fun game. It's stylish, the animations are sleek, the music is really good, the characters feel fun to play, it's really easy to get into and really fall in love with a character that you want to play as, and not just run a lot of them. I think the game does such a good job in just being able to make someone like me who always wanted to get into the genre of fighting games just settle and be nestled right in. It's just a fun time, and I'm looking forward to playing it in the summer. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're looking forward to the game too. Pick it up yourself. I'd love to play against just anyone online and just have a good time, because this game has done it for me. And I think if you've been on the fence for fighting games, or if you're looking for one that gets you into the genre, I think this could do it for you too. And if you're just looking for a fun time and you already play fighting games, I don't think you're too hardcore to be able to have fun with this, because it just does such a great job. Anyway, it's been Offtrackduo, and I hope you have a good one.